Today we're taking a look at a feature-packed, exceptionally fast charging, and insanely expandable unit. We are jumping into the HiSolus Apollo 5K. So what's up guys, welcome back to the lab. Today we're taking a look at the first unit I've ever come across that comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. This thing is like the Ferrari of solar generators. There's way more people out there K-swapping Honda Civics and absolutely dusting Ferraris in drag races, but at the end of the day, the people that are driving the Ferraris are fucking pleased with themselves. What I'm trying to say is it's a little bit expensive, but we're gonna jump into that later. This is also a unit that we've seen tons of YouTubers just pumping its tires. No one's really talked about any of the stuff that they just don't like. And you guys know here at the lab, our opinions cannot be bought. If at any point you wanna check this thing out and take a look at the price tag, there is some links in the description down below that you can use. But before we get into it, we're gonna jump into a super quick 2-minute teardown for everyone that doesn't know the specs on the HiSolus Apollo 5K. For starters, this thing barely passed the tiny baby lift test. He was able to lift it up out of the cart and kind of walk around with it a little bit, but it almost killed him when we started playing a game that we probably shouldn't have been playing unsupervised. This beast comes in at 131 pounds. The Apollo 5K has a 5,376 watt-hour battery, and so does every single expansion battery, but this thing can be expanded up to 118 kilowatts, which is insane. That's ahead of every other unit by miles. A single unit has a 3,000 watt inverter with a 6,000 watt surge. And again, when you start stacking these units up, you can get it up to a 36 kilowatt inverter with a 72 kilowatt surge capacity. Each individual unit can have up to 5 expansion batteries, and to get all the way up to like the 118 with the 36 inverter with the 72 surge, you need 12 units and 10 expansion batteries total. When it comes to putting power back into these units, you can plug this thing into a plug in your house and put 3,000 watts of AC directly into it, which is pretty good compared to the battery size. But these guys really shine with the solar input, which is 4,400 watts of solar input. So you can fully charge this unit in 90 minutes with solar panels. And when it comes to ports, this thing has the weirdest configuration of output ports. It has 6 20 amp house plugs. It has 2 quick charge USB-A's. It has one 18 watt USB-C and one 100 watt USB-C. It has a 12 volt car plug on the top. And then it also has 2 30 amp Anderson ports, which is cool if you need Anderson ports. We have a dedicated 30 amp plug as well right here, and it also has 2 2 amp barrel connectors on the front. On the back, you have your AC input, you have your DC input, you have 2 communication ports as well as 2 expansion battery ports, and you have 2 direct MC4 plugs on the back here for your solar input. And there's also a little ground port down here. This unit actually comes with a ground spike. The screen is okay. It kind of looks like a Game Boy Color. It reminds us a little bit of a Bluetti, but it makes up for it by being fully detachable and connecting via Bluetooth. That makes up for the fact that it's not the most up-to-date screen. And when it comes to price, we will get into that a little bit later, but when I first said it out loud, my Visa literally jumped out of my pocket and ran under the stairs to hide. So obviously the price is one of those things that maybe we don't love, but when it comes to things we do like about this unit, there's actually a really long list, starting with the screen that I was just talking about. This screen actually Bluetooths to the unit, and it has little connectors right here on the back. So when you put it on, it's charging, and it works within 60 feet. So what's really cool about this is that a lot of units like the EcoFlows and stuff, when you need to use a screen, you need to buy a screen, and then you need to plug the screen in with a cord. You could bring this to wherever you are and kind of control it, mount it on the wall, whatever. There's a little USB-C port on the side, so you can actually charge this up. You don't have to charge it directly from the unit. If you have this thing in the back of your truck at a job site, if you take this thing camping, if you have this thing in an RV, a million use cases where the screen coming off and just staying connected like this is really cool. We also really like the potential output of this unit. Start adding them up and you can run single phase, you can run split phase, and you can run 3 phase, which is really cool for industrial applications. And while this thing may look a little more industrial, there is some really cool attention to detail stuff that we love to find in these portable power stations, such as a little removable cover right here with a dust screen for your inlet fans. So this is where it sucks cold air in, blows it out the back. Maybe it's in other units, but a replaceable, cleanable dust screen, not something we see all the time. Again, kind of falling in line with this like industrial application in a bit of a dirtier environment. And like we said, this thing is at the price tag of a Ferrari, so it's nice to know that your Ferrari will be running smoothly for a long time, as long as you're doing your oil changes, of course. We also really like the cart. We found a little Easter egg in the tires. The tread is actually the H for the HiSolus, which I think only the nerds will care about, but I thought it was kind of cool. But the cart in general is just a beast. It's got huge wheels. You can wheel it over anything. You can wheel it anywhere. It's pretty much like a wagon that you would throw a case of beer on and take to the beach, except now you're taking 5,376. Did I nail that first try? Yeah. Let's go. Watts of electricity to the beach. We also really like the dedicated 30 amp that opens up a wide variety of uses just out of a single unit. We also really weirdly kind of like the design. I'm a big sucker for something that looks really nice, but something like this, it's just so simple. If you're gonna put this in a slide out on your RV, slide it out, put it down, put a strap over it. You're not gonna ruin the fancy screen. There's like, it's just a box. You just strap the box down and you're done. The last thing we really like is the solar input. Like we said earlier, it's 4,400 watts of solar, which is crazy. You can charge this thing so fast, but that also comes with a little bit of a pitfall where the minimum voltage you need to put solar into this thing is 120 volt, which kind of bleeds us into some of the things that we don't like about the HiSolus Apollo 5K, which starts with the solar input. I love it. I think that having 500 volt max solar input is crazy. This unit actually comes with an inline breaker on the solar connectors because the high voltage solar is actually dangerous. But if you're only working with 1-2 units, you can't just wheel it outside and have like foldable panel, pop it up and put solar into it. It won't produce enough power. You need a lot of solar to pump into this thing just to get it to register. So it's a love-hate thing. I finally got what I've been asking for with a higher solar input, but it kind of minimized the ability to put just a little bit in. Something that would be really cool here is if we could get a feature like the Delta Pro Ultra, because the Delta Pro Ultra has a 5.6 kilowatt solar input, so it's actually a little bit higher, but there's a secondary port so you can still bring it outside and connect just a single foldable panel to it. This one should come as no surprise. I really dislike these little Bluetti style rubber doinky flaps. And probably the weirdest thing that I don't like about this unit so far, it comes with a AC. This is the AC charging you get. This plugs into the AC port in the back. This is a 30 amp plug. Now I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say most of us probably don't have a 30 amp plug just in our house waiting for us to plug this in. And so they also gave us a 30 amp to 120 adapter thing. Now, if you're a big camper, RV life kind of person, you probably shit pants when you see this, because anybody that does any kind of trailer RV stuff, you know that these things are dangerous. Usually you get like the cord that doesn't set itself on fire. But I think there's like a regular 120 plug would have been fine, considering 98% of people are probably using the adapter. The last thing that we just don't like about this unit is that it is the size of Tiny Baby's dresser. It weighs 131 pounds. It's massive, and it only does 120 out of a single unit. It can do 240, you need 2 units. And like we said earlier, one of the things we actually do like is it does do 3-phase. The real issue that ties into needing multiple units for this is that the price tag, like we mentioned at the beginning, is astronomically high. It's the Ferrari of unit. Performs amazing. It's the Ferrari. But people probably watching this want a Honda Civic. You just want cheap, buy it, throw the key in, don't change the oil, f the oil, drive it till the wheels fall off, and then sell it for 10 bucks. And so when you hear the price of this thing is $4,995 on a kind of permanent sale price, your pee-pee probably inverted. It's a lot. It's a lot of money for a single unit that
you just need to find multiple of these things to reach any of the cool capabilities.
Yeah, it just, for most people, they're probably gonna be a little bit hesitant when there's a lot of comparisons on the market that are a lot less than that. But let's jump into some comparisons, and I'm gonna let you guys decide, because at the end of the day, I shouldn't be speaking for people's wallets. When it comes to comparisons, we've seen a lot of other YouTubers comparing this thing to the Delta Pro, which is a medium comparison at best. This is a 5,000 watt battery. This is a 3,600 watt battery. This is a 3,000 watt inverter. This is a 3,600 watt inverter. This one is way more portable. It also has your 30 amp plug on the front. You can also multiply them and do 240, same as you can multiply these and do 240. Multiplying this is gonna still be cheaper to get 2. The truth is, personally, I'd buy 2 of these and do 240 before I bought one of these, because I don't have the crazy industrial, like, power hungry 3-phase needs of this unit. That's just my opinion on the Delta Pro. And when we're talking about options that are much cheaper, we got to look at the Anker F3800. This thing costs $3,499. It's got a 6,000 watt inverter. It's got a 3,800 watt hour battery, and it does 240 out of a single unit. And you can even get the Anker to cost almost the same price. If you add an expansion battery, it costs $4,799. And now it has a 7,600 watt hour battery, which just crushes when it comes to price ratio. Obviously, we could sit around and compare this to units all day. When you're looking at single units, which is what we're trying to do in this video, this beats this. When you're looking at, grand scheme, this tops out at, I think, 90 kilowatts of battery. This does 118. This, in terms of inverter, smashes what this can do, but that's not what we're looking at. One unit right here, 6,000 watts of battery, 7,000 watt inverter. This guy does 240 right here out of this little flap. It makes no noise. It performs incredibly well, and it does everything that you're gonna want this to do if you're looking for one unit. And like I said, this costs $5,700. The Delta Pro Ultra has a 5.6 kilowatt solar input, so it's actually a little bit higher, but there's a secondary port so you can still bring it outside and connect just a single foldable panel to it. This was the first time where I just didn't have the answer as to why. Why is this so expensive when this clearly smashes when we're comparing apples to apples, one unit to one unit. So Tiny Baby actually sent them an email. We didn't want to just completely shit on this unit like we did the Bluetti when it obviously performs, but all the other people that are talking about this thing aren't considering that you and me have to pay for this, and it's outrageously expensive in comparison. We literally sent them an email, said, hey, we're making a video and we want to know, why would someone buy this versus this? Can you just help us? Basically, what they said back was that this is geared towards solving a variety of needs, which is your needs right now and your needs in the future. This is a unit that's almost impossible to grow out of, which I do agree with, given that you can afford to continue to grow with it. And they basically said, if you're gonna compare the Apollo to the Delta Pro Ultra, their price point reflects the fact that when an everyday consumer calls HiSolis, an American will answer the phone and help you with whatever you need. We're friendly neighborhood solar bros, and we're with you every step of the way. Which, honestly, I would be pissed if I wasn't getting that quality of customer service for a unit that's this expensive. Everyone's making videos on this thing, giving it the double wrister. And I think the truth is that when it comes down to everyday consumers, I wouldn't buy one. Not one unit. I wouldn't buy one unit. But if you're trying to get the best bang for your buck, like I always do, unfortunately, if I wasn't building an off-grid mecca, not necessarily would I go here. I actually would go somewhere else, but I would have trouble going here. At the end of the day, when it comes to purchasing decisions, I can't speak for everybody's financial situation. If you can afford to buy multiple of these and money isn't something you're worried about, 100%, I'm on board. Start stacking them up. There's a reason everybody's been loving them. If you're interested in getting a little bit more bang for your buck that you worked really hard to save, you might want to look elsewhere. And if you still don't know which unit is for you, we actually just put together a 60-second quiz. There's a link in the description down below that you guys can take. It'll help you make the best decision based on your specific circumstances. And if you guys are still here, make sure you guys go down in the comments down below and comment some testing you want to see us run this through. We've started doing a little bit of testing. We're really excited to push this thing. Let us know anything that you guys want us to do to it. That's all we got for you guys. I will catch you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out and stay charged.